Hello and welcome to episode 18 of I Will Cast Anything. We're on Daybreak for game 3 of this best of 7 series between SoMToZu, the yellow Terran spawning in the top right hand corner, and Loconess, the blue Zerg spawning in the bottom left hand corner. The series is currently even at 1 apiece. Loconess took out the first game by controlling the map and out-macroing it and out-producing his opponent. SoMToZu won the second game by getting a huge upgrade advantage early on and doling out the damage with +3/+3 Marines and lots of medevacs. So we saw SoMToZu change up his strategy. In the first game he went Hellions quite early on. In the second game he went 1 Rax Expand, and then into lots and lots of Marines and lots of upgrades and siege tanks. Loconess seemed to be expecting those Hellions that he got hurt by in the first game, and so produced roaches early on, and then went into Mutalisks again, which he was able to be effective with in his harassment, but against the marine based army of SoMToZu couldn't get much done. So we'll have to see what strategies players go with in this third game, if we see anything different from Loconess, if we see him try to maybe go into infestors earlier. Looks like we are going to see the 1 Rax Expand again, potentially from SoMToZu, though it's a little early to tell. And the hatchery first, Loconess sticking with that strategy, which is a pretty solid one, it must be said. Can't really argue with hatchery first in most situations. It is a safe build. First barracks finishing up, and the spawning pool starting for Loconess. Finishing up his wall here, SoMToZu, and I would expect to see an expansion come down after that. His first Marine is about to pop, and he will head across the map to check out Loconess's base. Loconess doesn't seem to be into drone scouting too much. I haven't seen it out of him. Which is it's unusual. I mean, most Zerg players aren't willing to rely on just what they can get done with very slow overseers. Yep, there's that expansion coming down from ToZu, who is scouting with a Marine, and, well, he's scouting with an SCV. He poked his Marine out to this Alnaga tower to see if there are any Zerglings coming across. Now he's brought it back to keep watch on the base, and that second hatch is up. Spawning pool is up for Loconess, Queens and Zerglings on the way. So exactly the same builds from both sides as we saw in the previous game. First gas coming for ToZu at pretty much exactly the same time. And it's been pretty close in these first two games, I have to say. Neither player's really been sweeping the other one away. They've both been suffering heavy losses in each game, so I think it's going to be hard for one of these players to really assert themselves unless they are willing to change up their tactics a little bit, try something a bit different, catch their opponent off guard. SoMToZu, having lost that last game, going a bit defensive, throwing down a spine crawler early on, maybe worried about Hellions again, or just about the small Marine poke. ToZu was very effective with his early harass in all two of the previous games, able to get into his opponent's base early, kill some workers, and throw off the timings of everything. Looks like it is going to be a lot of bio units again for ToZu. 2 more barracks coming down. Orbital Command finishing up on the expansion. Meanwhile, Loconess has been droning like crazy. He's mining fully on 2 bases at the moment. See that income lead reflected there, but as these mules come down, that will start to even out. Thinking about his third now, perhaps. Loconess. A couple of Zerglings out on the map, wandering around, and Loconess taking 4 gas all at once. Zerglings taken out, and Marines heading for his base. It's going to be 2 queens and a spine crawler. That should be enough to keep this at bay. Expect these Marines to turn tail and run. which they do after one of their number is killed. So going with queens for defense early on, as he did in the very first game, Loconess. No early roaches this time. Looks like he might be going Mutalisk again. He's taken 4 gas. He's going up to lair. And droning very heavily. He hasn't got that third because of these marines out on the map. He won't be able to take it until he can build a force of units that can head off creep, clean out these marines. Just lots and lots and lots of marines. Maybe we're going to see some heavy aggression early on from ToZu here. Stim is researching. Here comes Zergling speed. Factory up and starport coming. But a big marine force already. And a third base coming down from ToZu. So he is being quite aggressive, it looks like, this game. I think maybe he feels he has the upper hand after winning that previous game. And he's going to push out onto the map. Here comes +1 weapons. And Loconess, another facet of his strategy seems to be that he likes to take that macro hatch before he takes a third base, which, given that he's not producing many units early on, having ceded map control, it's not a terrible strategy. So he's going straight to Infestor. So having waited too late, in my opinion, in the previous 2 games to go up to Infestor, he's now going straight to Infestor. Is putting out a wave of Lings now, because he knows that he's been sitting around with not much army for a long time, and there's quite a build-up of forces going on over in ToZu's base. But the Overseer is up here, and he will be checking out what's going on, having seen that force of Marines down there, and just checking out all these barracks that are up here, and seeing the starport as well. So that factory was flown off to make a bit of a wall down here. There's that Zergling force heading across the map. Concussive shells and combat shields researching for ToZu. +1/+1 researching for Loconess. And with this Zergling force out on the field, Loconess can take that third. It looks like he might make a push at the third of ToZu, but this force of Marines, Marauders and Medvacs should be enough to clean out these Zerglings and push them away. Fair few Zerglings going down, but that infestation pit is finished. Infestors are all on the way. So is a Baneling nest. Could be a Ling Baneling and Infestor that Loconess is aiming for. Getting those Infestors out nice and early is crucial, because that means you let them build up lots of energy, so you have lots and lots of fungals to throw down on all these Marines and Marauders, and then you can roll in the Banelings and clean them out straight up to +2/+2. So Loconess fell behind big time in the upgrades in the last match, and he doesn't want it to happen again. He's actually going to be ahead in upgrades in a short space in time. Here comes a drop from ToZu. I think he's checking down here to see if there is a fourth, which there isn't, and then he'll come and drop at the third. He's sending in this small force of Marines with 1 Marauder to pull out these Zerglings into the middle of the map, so sacrificing those units. There is an Overlord here, so Loconess is going to spot this, but he's going to have to get some units over here quickly. He's only got 1 Queen. He said ToZu had a very effective harass. He kills 2 workers there. He might kill this Queen. He does kill the Queen. Here come the Infestors though. Big fungals go down all over all of the Marines and one of the Medvacs, and the Zerglings come in to eat their way through them. Infestors push up, more fungals go down. I think this force is going to be wiped out. Not quite yet though. Those Infestors have to stay clear. Don't want to lose them yet. Well, not the greatest harass. Oh, that's some great fungals catching those Medvacs as they were trying to escape. The infested Terrans will pop and take them down. And ToZu cleans up. Pretty much even on resources lost there. 8 workers killed by ToZu though. That is a good advantage to have. And disrupted the mining at this third, which will slow things down for ToZu, for Loconess even a little bit. But he's got 5 Infestors out now. 80 Zerglings, so he's going to have a big +2/+2 Zergling army and several infestors with lots and lots of energy. More infestors on the way. +2/+2 is coming for ToZu, so he's not going to fall behind in the upgrades, and he's going MMM all the way at the moment. I don't think he has a single tank out. No, he doesn't. So in theory, I think this this infestor Ling combination should be pretty effective against this army, especially with good energy on the infestors. Looks like ToZu wants to push though. He's got a supply advantage, although not a massive one. He's going to sweep around again, head down towards this third base. But there's a huge army breaking down the rocks in the middle of the map that is immediately going to pull back and punch into the side of this army and potentially cut it off if it's very aggressive. Here go the Zerglings, there go the Fungals. Good spread from SoMToZu, but not good enough. All of those Marines go down. Infested Terrans are going to pop, take out a lot of these medvacs. And that was a great engagement from Loconess, waiting for his opponent to get up onto the creep, charging into the side of him and doing a lot of damage. He's now going up to Hive, getting Burrow. Lot of Zerglings on the field. It's still just MMM and upgrades coming from ToZu. Loconess has not been aggressive this game. He's been sitting back, he's been waiting for his force to build up. But I think once these Banelings are ready, he's going to move across the map and head towards ToZu's base. ToZu's claiming, speaking of bases, another one. So both players will be on 4 bases, although both players... Well, actually, Terran player nearly mined out his main. Zerg still with a bit left there. Berserk does like to be ahead on bases, so won't be thrilled about that. +3/+3 coming, trying to maintain that upgrade advantage, but pretty even at the moment. Trying to get Planetary Fortress out down here, but oh no, the Fungals and the Zerglings and the Banelings, even these slow Banelings are going to do a lot of damage here. These infested Terrans also doing a lot of damage, and a rain of infested Terrans coming down on this base. Planetary Fortress is up. Oh, it's going to be close. I think they are. I think this Planetary Fortress is going to live. Well, not a great attack from Loconess there. He didn't lose any of his infestors, which is good, and he's able to remake those Zerglings pretty quickly. This Queen is about to lose its life rather ignobly. SoMToZu thinking about counter-attacking there, but he doesn't want to get onto that creep. Here come a lot of Zerglings. These Marines trying to stim to get away, and with the reinforcements coming down the ramp, they are going to hold this 4th base. But only just Ultralisks coming for Loconess, so going up to the high-tech units. I think Loconess has got the advantage in this game. He's going to take a 5th. He's remaxing so quickly with these Zerglings and Banelings, and now the Ultralisks have popped. And they're going to have +3 armor, +3 attack. And they're going to do a lot of damage to this tightly packed Marine force, which is coming in for a drop at the moment. This is interesting. Has been spotted by these overseers, overlords even. I think that was a slightly abortive attempt at a drop. And once +3/+3 finishes up, we might see a push from ToZu. He's maxing out with Zerglings at the moment. Finally, some tanks in production. Mostly for defensive purposes, it looks like. Trying to get a bit of a wall up here and protect the workers at this 4th base. And building a 5th, potentially to float down. Here come the Ultralisks. They're going down pretty quickly. Next to this Planetary Fortress back here, but those Banelings come in and clean up those Marines. Big Fungals. Freeze them up. But again, not able to make solid inroads, and SoMToZu's fighting back now. Infestors coming up one by one to spew out some Terrans, infested Terrans, and then run back. This large number of medvacs here is helping SoMToZu keep his Marine force alive and push back. These infestors are pretty low on health, pretty low on energy. SoMToZu could push in and do a lot of damage here, even with this small force that he's got on the field. A couple of Zerglings are popping out to try and deal with it. Here come the rest of them. And he's tunneling away with these infestors, keeping them safe. But he's given up.